Really? Okay.
My dream job.
So you, so you have your cerebrum, which is the entire upper part of the brain. You have the cerebral cortex, which is the outermost layer. It's going to be comprised of gray matter. Can't see gray or white, so you'll use them all. Okay, then you have gyri or gyrus, which are the elevations. Every single one of them is. Then you have the sulcus or sulci, which are all the little grooves, the lower part. You'll have the longitudinal fissure, the long way, the longest one, longitudinal. You'll have the frontal lobe, which is same as the frontal bone. It's the motor portion of your brain. You have the central sulcus, which is the deepest one coming down the side. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but yeah, it's the deepest one. It will run the entire length from the longitudinal down to the central sulcus, which is the one that comes across.
That's why they name it circumflex.
And both those are part of the frontal
These
lobe.
are human-made names
You have the temporal
to identify something.
lobe, which is your hearing, interpreting speech, and language and smell, which is same places as your temporal bone. Then we'll go to the parietal lobes, same place as the parietal bones, understanding speech and formulating words, also controls touch. Then you'll have your occipital, same place as the occipital bone, processing storal visual, so you see from the back of your brain. We have no central white matter, like I said, all you see is the gray matter on the brain, so I can't point that out. Then you'll have the commissural tracts. This is what can tell your two sides of the brain to talk to each other. You cannot see the projection fibers, you cannot see the association fibers. So then we'll go to the ventricles, which on this model you can't see. Okay, on this one you can see the lateral ventricles. It's this empty space in here is your lateral.
We
And
point
you
to it one more time.
This entire space in here.
Okay.
And you have one here and then one on the other side of this thing. And what this thing is the septum pellucidum. And it separates the first and second ventricle, which are your two lateral ventricles. It's this guy right here. Hard. There's really no way to separate first and second. It's just one's here and one's on the other side of here. Okay, then you have the thalamus, which is this thing that surrounds this little white dot labeled 22. It's labeled 26-ish, and it's just this thing right here. Then you have your hypothalamus, which is below the thalamus, so it's the thing labeled 20, so right there. Your pituitary gland is on this one. Your pituitary gland is this guy right here that hangs off, that I'm surprised has not fallen off yet. You then have it's better on this guy. Your pineal gland, which is labeled 23. This little thing that pops off the back. This entire area, when you put the two brain sides together, it creates a cavity, and that cavity is referred to as the third ventricle. And on these models, this little colored, I think it's red and blue right here, that is the choroid plexus, which secretes this cerebral spinal fluid. There's one in each of the ventricles, but this is the only one visible. So it's probably the only one he'll test us on. Next we have the corpora quadrigemini, which there's 4 of them, hence quad. But you have the top one and the bottom one on this side, and the other 2 are here. So when you put them together, it creates a little square of 4 things. And this is on your medulla, or your brainstem. Sorry. And then you have the top 2 are called superior colliculi, and the bottom 2 are called inferior
But
colliculi.
if it's not clear to you.
Cerebral peduncles you cannot see, but that's where the cerebrum attaches to the brainstem, kind of like right in here, if he shows you the picture.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not, so don't worry about it.
Okay, then we have,
You see them depicted well, you see part of it. And
we're going to
you
go
can see
into
it
your 4th
on some
ventricle,
of
which
the brain
is
that in one piece.
the space that's right in here. Ventricle is just is just a hole. So it's in this area. When you put the 2 brains together, it'll create a gap, and there's a choroid plexus, like I said, but you cannot see it. I'm sorry, I said right here, but it's actually down lower. It's this thing right here. What you can tell is here's your 3rd ventricle. This little gap right here that travels down is your cerebral aqueduct. And it connects to 3rd and the 4th. So it's this tiny little line. On this brain, it's a little bit clearer. It's just the line that goes from the 3rd ventricle right here all the way down to the 4th ventricle. Okay. Now you're going to go down to the cerebellum. You have your 2 hemispheres, your right and your left. And if you look really, really closely, you can see the ridges. Each one of those ridges is called a fovea. The vermis, if you put these together really tight, is that little plate that connects the 2 hemispheres. That's the vermis that separates the right and left lobes. Then on the inside of the cerebellum, you have this thing that looks like a tree. It's called the arbor vitae. It's translated into the tree of life. Easy way to remember it, because that's kind of what it looks like. Again, you can't see the cerebral peduncles, which is the next thing on the list. It's going to be in this area right here where it attaches to the brainstem. Then we'll drop down. I've got 2 different styles. Brains connecting. Okay. This big round part right here is called the pons. The elongation is your medulla oblongata, and then the brainstem down at the bottom. That'd be it.